Well, hello, how are you doing? You alright? Bloody belting, fantastic, super great. Right, welcome to the first W.H.I.T news. Thanks for joining me. Let's just get the image right. There's no lenses in them, they're just for the, Anyway, but here we go. So I just wanted to do a little bit of a catch-up, basically, from the W.H.I.T side and myself to tell you what's going on. So, we've been a little bit quiet, me and Mick McLaren, over Christmas. Things have happened which have not been really nice, to be honest. A few of you will know that Mick's mum passed away around about, it was about the 20th of December, just before Christmas, which wasn't, a real shock, basically. It was, it comes to us all, but, it's still a big shock. Like I say, and then, just after Christmas, my mum's mum, my nan, passed away. So I kind of know how it feels round about the same time. So I just wanted to say, God bless them both. R.I.P. Rest in peace. So yeah, that's why Mick's been a little bit quiet, and he's had a couple of health issues as well. So, which has stopped him going out onto the moors and whatnot. So, but we'll get a little bit more into that in a second. But yeah, I just wanted to do, like I say, a W.H.I.T news updates, basically. So yeah, round about just after Christmas, it was the day before New Year's Eve, I believe, I had a little comment put in my Rivington video, and I ended up talking to him, and we ended up we were supposed to meet New Year's Eve, and we didn't, because it was just torrential rain, and it would have put a dampener on things. But we ended up, the New Year's Day, we met up with a guy called Thomas, and Thomas is from Poland, but he's lived in this country for about 13 years, I believe now. So we ended up meeting up with Thomas, a cracking lad who was telling us a few things, and I picked up on one of his main subjects which he's into, which I'll not really go into because the video at the end, it's only short where we actually met him. It's the end of this film. It'll tell you a little bit more about him, to be honest. But Thomas didn't really want to go on camera, so we appreciate that. So obviously you'll not see his face, but yeah. So he was telling us a few stories, and he's got one subject which he really takes to heart. But the good thing is he's going back to Poland at the end of Feb 2023. But what he said is he'll stay in contact with us. So fingers crossed with that. I'm sure he will, and if he will, we'll give you some news from what's happening in Poland about the subject he will talk about. So yeah, he also, as well, he lives apparently in a haunted house. Now, he doesn't want to leave, because he's leaving in Feb, he doesn't want to leave the house, kind of for the next person to move in, as not knowing there's an unwanted guest. So what we've done, me and Mick have talked about it, and Mick says, I think it's best left to Nat and Pete, so the two mediums. So what we've done, Mick's done, he's been over and seen Pete, and he's arranged a date. So last I heard, I spoke to him on Saturday. Well, I actually went over to see him for a bit of food and whatnot on Saturday night. And Thomas had not got back to Mick's email with the date. So if you're watching this, Thomas, please just get back to Mick and let him know where you're up to, because Nat and Pete are waiting. So yeah, so like I said, I went to Mick's and Cooch's on Saturday, and lovely Denise was there, and we had a bit of a chat and a bit of a natter, and you know, that's why I decided to, you know, do a little bit of an update. Now, I know Mick's had a bit of, you know, trouble at his end with stuff, and things have not gone right, you know, because his mum passed away. But I said, you know, have you been, you know, doing a little bit of, and he said, well, I have actually, I've been doing a bit of work. He said, a bit of groundwork. He said, not as much as I would have thought leading up to Christmas and just over the Christmas period because of things what's happened. He said, I've kind of worked out a pattern. And what it means is, like, if you get a cluster at Rivington, what we're finding is, if you get a cluster, say, a sighting of a big cat, a cryptid, UFO, it seems to happen every 5 to 6 years. When he started looking back at the dates, that's what we've come out with. So I said, well, keep working on it, you know. And he said, right. He said, but I've also as well been working on a bit of an update of the ley lines. I'm not sure if there is a full ley lines map out there. I know when I was talking to Paul Sinclair from Truth Proof, he said, oh, I'll be interested. He said, I'll have to have a chat with Mick. He said, maybe, you know, we can get it onto the Truth Proof site and, you know, maybe puts the sightings of, you know, cryptid, whatever, on the actual ley lines, so as you know that where there's a ley line and an incident, you know they both combine, which is interesting. So Mick's on with that. He did show me, which he's on with, but Mick's a little bit OCD. And there's nothing wrong with that. OCD is perfection in my mind. But yeah, so he's on with that. Like I say, I think he might release it as well as a link once it's spot on, you know, and he's happy with it. So I think a lot of people as well would want a ley line map, a recent updated one anyway, at least. I know I would, basically. I mean, he was telling me there's one just over the back here, where I am. Which was quite interesting. So yeah, so that's what Mick's been up to. And also as well, talking about Mick, it's Mick all week, this, isn't it? But no, it should be called Mick's show. But no, basically, I'm only joking that Mick McClellan was on a live stream on last week, I think it was, just gone back, on Hidden Existence, with a lady called Danielle and a guy called Brent. Now, what we liked about it, and I was talking to Mick on Saturday, and I didn't know this, that Brent and Danielle actually are involved with, if you know the Bigfoot side, Bigfoot Odyssey, which is basically the #1 in the world, really. If you know a lot about that cryptid side of things. And what I think they're aiming for is they want very, very genuine people, which we are as a group, who are also out on foot, to do a bit more research in the British side of things. I think the Americans are saying, well, how come you've got a little island with a few clusters of trees, but you've so-called, you know, got cryptids? So I think they're looking for answers over here. So we're going to help them the best we can. And I think Mick is going back on the show, so look out for it. But I know if you do catch it, she does mention that the team, like us, lovely Denise, Cooch and Mick obviously, will be going on. So look out for that as well. That'll be very interesting. But if you do watch the actual live stream, you'll see that Danielle actually does a little bit of research herself, and you'll have to watch it basically. I don't want to go too much in it, but she took a photo of an animal at the actual research place she actually is, and she's also as well asked us to go over and maybe, you know, if we could have a look round or, you know, sense anything, because she said the atmosphere changes now and again. So that's very interesting, that, because that's right up Wych Street, basically, because we can feel the energy. But it's getting that way where we can feel it more and more. But an interesting thing is when I did, you know, my video at Rivington in the snow, when I went on my own, it's the first time I actually had a crystal on me. And I didn't feel anything apart from one instance all night. I definitely felt a difference with that crystal. So it must have grounded me, like people say, which I was shocked about, to be honest. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. You know, to me it was quite an eye-opener. But yeah, so I think as well, I think what we'll do, just getting back to the haunted house with Nat and Pete, sorry. I think if we do get a date and we go with Nat and Pete, we'll get the cameras rolling in case anything happens. So I just wanted to fill that little bit of information in. Yeah, so we were also on about some meets coming up towards spring and summer. We don't know where, but we'll let you know more. What we were really talking about is doing something a little bit different. Instead of sticking around the woods and open fields and, you know, I said, well, what about, you know, we could do a couple of haunted houses, as I've just mentioned. And Mick said, well, funny enough, he said, I've been talking to Pete, because Pete's done that kind of thing. He said, I'll have a word with Pete, and he said, we'll take it from there. So when I saw him on Saturday, I said, and he said, yeah, he said, I think Pete's looking into it. So that'll be interesting, a little bit of a twist on things, on haunted houses and halls. So yeah. Another thing as well, the film with Chris Turner is like a bit of a... It's a bit of a nightmare at the moment, because what's happening is, if I remember right, when I spoke to Chris last, Chris said the film is more or less done, because we wanted to box it off, or Chris did, for Christmas. And it's obviously not happened. But the reason is because the witnesses are not getting back to us. Now, we know it's been over Christmas, you know, when everybody's busy and things happen and whatnot. But if you're watching this, or you watch something on Mick's channel where he kind of says to you, Luke, about the witnesses, can you get back to us? We need you to get back to us, because we can't move on any further. But I'm sure Chris said the more or less the film is done, but we need some more actual, you know, interviews on it. So I think it's jotted down on paper, and we've got a few interviews. But yeah, we just need a bit more push on that side of it, from the actual witness side. So, but there again, it can work in two ways really, because I rang Mick just before Christmas, and I said, you know, I ring him every week to see if there's any cases coming to W.H.I.T headquarters, and he said it's been quiet. He said just before Christmas, no, nothing at all. And I rang him just after Christmas, and he said, no, he said, we've had a few starters. I said, oh, brilliant, what are they? And he said, they're this and this. He said, but I don't know the facts behind it. So basically what I'm saying is, because we've not finished the actual film, these witnesses may make the film as well, because they are really good sightings. I can't tell you more about them because I don't know more. So, but I know they're really good accounts, and I know Mick. I'm not sure if Mick's interviewed one person already, or interviewed him but not got it on, you know, film, because it was the first time he met this guy. He'd hardly spoke to him, and he didn't know him about it, but or know much about this person. But I'll have to check back on that and let you know. But I know he's met up with him, but I don't know if it's on film. So, you know, I might need to speak back to him to film it and get some more information. So that's what's happening on our side of the film. And also, talking about films, about 2 weeks ago there was a special on Truth Proof with Paul Sinclair and Digital Creations, Les. What they've done is, I mean, if you've not heard about it, you must have been hiding under a rock if you're in the paranormal world that, you know, we research and whatnot. Yeah, they've done a film over 3 years. They've finished filming, but they're just putting all the little bits, the music and everything together. But the film, actual behind the camera, is done. That's finished. But he's actually just doing the actual music, like I say, and a bit of audio and a bit more of the drawing side, I believe, because a lot of the stuff is done by Paul himself. So yeah, it's over 3 years. It's 3 years long. Sorry. But what I'm mentioning is, if you go back and see the actual Truth Proof live stream and pick up on Wolflands, you'll see that an hour into it, they've done a 15-minute trailer, basically, of it. They've put it together with the witnesses going back and forward of the event, which is absolutely fantastic. I've watched it about 10 to 15 times, because every time you watch, like rewind it and watch a bit more, you pick up a little bit more, so it's quite interesting. But I know it will be fantastic. It'll be, well, I mean, it'll be just spot on, because I know Paul and I know Les, it's their baby, basically. So yeah, so if you've not seen it, go over and have a view, because it is well worth it. And I know for a fact people are gunning for the film already. They want to pre-order, but it's not yet, you know, it's not yet available. So, but it will be worth waiting for. Best things come to them who wait. That's what I always say. And if you see the actual creature in the actual film, the 15-minute trailer, Paul's wife has made it, believe it or not. So thumbs up to Mary. Fantastic, Mary. And it does definitely hit the spot, because it made me kind of, at the time when I first saw it. But yeah, get over and watch that little bit of a live stream. Also as well, there's a couple of things coming up. Wicked Weekend, I think it's the 1st and 2nd of April, or right at the beginning of April anyway. It's at Warrington, and it's going to be a paranormal event, and a great friend, Steve Meara from the Northwest, is speaking, I believe, and a few others on the Bigfoot side, so that's going to be fantastic. I think if you look at Glenn's Weird Weekend on Facebook, I believe it's on. You can book it through there or speak to Glenn. That's another upcoming one. But yeah, so I don't think there's anything else to pass on as with news at the moment. But basically as well, I just wanted to say that the actual plate was made by my friend across the road. He works across the road from me. And the name of the business is Image Window Tints. And he does registrations and whatnot. But thanks, Simon, for the plate, and thanks Millie, his daughter, who works with him, for making it. So I'm really, really impressed. But like I say, I'll put a little bit of a intro at the end with his phone number. So if you want to windows tinting, new car registrations, the latest ones, vehicle wraps, chameleon windscreen, there's all sorts. He does all sorts, but he's an absolutely brilliant guy, and he's OCD about everything. So yeah, so I'll put that at the end of this film. But that's it basically from the first week news. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please comment below if you want to see more. And like I said, it won't be like, oh, once a month or whatever. It'll be whenever I've got some news, it'll be put on the actual YouTube channel, on my channel. So yeah, so there you go. And yeah, I can't say any more. Thanks for watching, viewers and subscribers. Thanks again, Samuel. Every little helps. It's only one, but sorry about that, but we're back. But yeah, so I'll make it more secure next time. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Leave a comment below, give us a like, and tell me if you want to know more. Cheers again. Bye bye for now.
Well, hello, what are we doing? You alright? Fandabidoze. Brilliant. Well, guess where we are? There we go. I'm not going to say where we are. If you don't know that by now, you shouldn't be watching my channel. But basically, yep, we're over at Kilfield 1. Just let you show you round. We're back over. There we go. Yep, so there you go. No, I was only joking. If you didn't know what the red ladies, you shouldn't be watching my channel. No, watch away. But yeah, so I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas and got what you wanted. I know I did, and more. From the W.H.I.T team, Happy New Year. I just better watch where I'm going and walking. But if you look in the, if you look over there, you'll see there's actually 5 of us tonight, and the 5 are me, obviously, Mick, Caroline, lovely Denise, and we've got a guy who left me a comment only yesterday, called Thomas, and he's from Poland, and he's just been telling us a few stories, and yeah, so he said we were coming up, and he said, well, can we meet you? And we said, yeah, come up, have a chin wag and take it from there. So he's trying to tell us a few things. He's actually going back to Poland. He'd lived over here about 13 years, but he's actually going in the next couple of months back over to Poland. But one thing what he said is he's going to keep us involved with, he has a very special interest in, you have to excuse me because I'm just walking and there's walls every so often where they keep boxing the lambs in, but yeah, he has a special interest in the underground facilities. So when he goes over there, he's started doing a lot more stuff and commenting on a few people and finding out a bit more about people over there, and he's got a few contacts, so he's going to keep us in touch, fingers crossed. It's Thomas when he goes back over to Poland, about these underground facilities, because he's been talking a lot about it, to be fair, and other things as well, about the experiment side and all that. But yeah, so we're actually at Kilfield 1 with a bit of a team involved tonight. So there's actually 5 of us tonight. So yeah, but it's great to see people reading my comments, watching the channel, and I didn't know anything about Mick, by the way, Thomas, so I've put him in Mick's direction. He got on my channel first. But isn't it strange how people go to Mick's channel and then come to me, and then they come to me and I put them to Mick? It's, you know, you think if you put Winter Hill they'd all just come at once, or Rivington or anything along the lines, but they don't. So Thomas got hold of me first, and then I spoke to Mick and I've put him in touch with Mick. So there you go, that's Thomas. But hopefully we'll get a few more stories. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to bed on more, but we're just in Kilfield 1. So it was absolutely pouring down when we got out of the car, but it's not now, it's absolutely fantastic. And we're just over the edge of the quarry, just over down there. I mean, we wanted to come up last night when it was absolutely magnificent, but you know, when you easy with the fireworks and all that, but it was absolutely pouring down. So it wouldn't have really been enjoyable. Great for you watching with your heaters on and the telly, but not for us. But no, we'd just give it a miss, and we thought we'd meet tonight instead. So yeah, but we're just having a bit of a getting the touch warmed into it, because it's a new year again. Our feet's back on the ground and getting our legs moving. So yeah, so let me just do a little bit more. Not sure if the quarry lights have just put us on, because can you see them down there? They're down there, can you see them over there? Can't see them. I've just put the quarry lights on. It's probably because we're shining our torches everywhere. But we've got a few things coming up this week, which, been funny enough, I was speaking to Mick just before Christmas, and I said, how's things, blah blah blah, because I give him a ring every week, find out what's going on, find out what's going on at W.H.I.T headquarters. So yeah, I gave him a ring, said, Mick, how's it going? He said, oh yeah, blah blah blah, but it's very quiet. And then after the Christmas period, in between the Christmas period and the New Year, we've had a bit of a snowball of accounts, and we've got one really good one, which is based here, and we've got two more which is back a few years, and another one we're actually, Mick and Cooch are going to meet up with them, and that's very, very interesting, and that's over the back. But like I say, until we know more, I can't tell you anymore. So yeah, so just have a little bit of a trundle, get our legs back in action. Not been over here for a while, but yeah, so keep watching. Right people, this is the actual ledge, you know, where we actually saw, well, I caught something when I turned round well, it'll be what, a few years ago now, and caught something on the night vision cameras, but as you can see down there, you'll see a sheep. Now, if it was a sheep what had crawled up and was looking at us, I'm right on top of it, and there's a couple more down there as well sleeping, so I'm not going to leave the light on. You see that walking up to them doesn't scare them, so, you know, to say I came over straight away and there was just nothing here. A sheep can't move fast, and all along that perimeter over there, down there, is fenced off. So it's just, you know, really strange that whatever we saw, it must have been something paranormal. It must have been, because nothing was here when I landed. But like I said before, it's when I was kind of at a fast pace running over from the right hand side, something said in my head it would be early, and of course I landed here and it wasn't here. But like I said, the sheep are down there. We've not scared them, we've had the torches and everything, they've not moved, so it just shows you it couldn't have been a sheep, but whatever it was very strange. Very, very strange. Anyway, let's leave the let's leave the sheep in peace. The lips are getting dry again. It's a little bit windy up here, but yeah. So I'll just do a little bit more scouting about. It's very peaceful up here tonight. Peaceful indeed.